Yara Dhammadava Kunda Vihari Dayara Dhammadava Kunda Vihari Dayara Dhammadava Kunda Vihari Dayara Dhammadava Kunda Vihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Jaya Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda Shri Radha Jaya Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda Shri Radha Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman 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 Jaya Gora Nitai Jaya Gora Nitai Gora Nitai Jaya Gora Nitai Jaya Gora Nitai Gora Nitai Gorandita Jaya Gorandita Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Thank you for playing Mridanga. Hare Krishna. Thank you for singing along, chanting along. The Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Good evening, everyone. Hare Krishna. So So my name is Jagat Priya Devi Dasi. I will be today evening with you, conducting the Bhagavad Gita class or facilitating the Bhagavad Gita class. So let's chant the invocation together. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All right, so we have this Bhagavad Gita on phones, but we have also few with us here. Is anyone who would like to read along with us? Anyone who would, yeah? So there's a limited source here. So, for auspiciousness and for good well wishes, we reciting these invocation prayers, yeah? So we can do together. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsta Shri Rupam Sagatatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sadivam Sadvetam Savadutam Paridana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Padita Shivisakan Vitamsta He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vindavaneshwari Vishapanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansha Kalpa Tarupyasta Kripa Sindhupya Evata Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you for following and trying. So today we are on verse 7, chapter 7 in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 8. So any one of you comes regularly here to the evening programs, Bhagavad Gita? Okay, so we all are coming sporadically. All right, so we are on chapter 7, text 8. So with the blessings and the mercy of the devotees, I'm hoping to conduct this class here for our upliftment. Okay, so chapter 7, Bhagavad Gita chapter 7, text 8. So you will see the chapter is written on the top of your book, pages. So you have to search for that. And then you see for your text number 8. I can't tell you the page. Every book has different page, but on the top is written the chapters. Okay, so you look for chapter 7. It's quite in the middle of the book. And then you look for verse number 8. So while you're looking for it, maybe I can give a brief introduction so far. So the Bhagavad Gita is a book which was spoken by Krishna himself to Arjuna on the battlefield. So it has 18 chapters, this Bhagavad Gita. And so far, already every evening in this year, we have gone through chapter 1 to 6, which are the first 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita described as Karma Yoga also. So what we have learned in these first 6 chapters is definitely about our own identity, our spiritual identity, that we are non-material living entities actually, but we are spiritual living entities. So that was the teaching, and so much more. But also very important point made by Krishna is that the spirit soul is very capable, to elevate himself to self-realization, that we come on the platform of self-realization. Because we are so much engrossed in this material world, we are so much active in so many material things, we forget that actually our main purpose is self-realization. That is really the purpose of our life. So there are different processes, different types of yoga, which can be taken part of, which are on the path of self-realization, which help us to realize our real identity, who we are, and what all others is meant by self-realization. So Krishna said in chapter 6, at this ending, that actually the highest form of self-realization, or the highest type of yoga which we can do on the path of self-realization, is bhakti yoga. So, and he's ending with the last verse, 647, on it by saying, and of all the yogis, the one who with great faith always abides in me, thinks of me within himself, and renders transcendental loving service unto me, he is the most intimately united with me in yoga and the highest of all. That is my opinion. So Krishna gives here his opinion. He says there's karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, there's so many processes, but bhakti yoga, really, in my opinion, that is the highest of all, because with this process you connect with me in true. You connect most intimately with me. And how you do this? Through transcendental loving service. So that was the last verse in chapter 6. So we are now in chapter 7, and we are just in the beginning of chapter 7. So the middle portion of the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7 to 12, gives us now more information actually about who is God, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He speaks about himself and his different energies and opulences, And he speaks about the relationship which we have as living entities with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, himself, and what is our relationship in devotional service. So now, in the very first verse, Krishna again picks up what he also discussed in the last verse of chapter 6:47. And here, he is actually saying to us that we can know him full, without doubt, If we we can actually have a look. If you look at your chapter 1, if you would like to, or I read it to you, it's fine. So he is saying here, now hear, O son of Pritha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. So here Krishna is ensuring us, us the hearer, he gives us assurance, that we are able to know him in full, free from doubt. And there is a certain practice, which we need to follow, a practice which will engage ourselves fully, with our mind and with our consciousness. We have to be engaged fully. So, and he's saying here about this. So now hearing is one of the foremost processes actually in devotional service, hearing called Shravanam. So from hearing we learn. So, and hearing purifies our heart, our mind. So then, until we come to today's verse, text 8, in between, Krishna also speaks about, he explains actually now what is knowledge, what is actually complete knowledge. Knowledge is not only about matter and spirit, but also really transcendental knowledge, and how rare it is to gain this knowledge. And he also names all the different separated material energies which make up our material existence, and meaning also makes up not only the material existence around us, but also us as living entities, our gross and subtle bodies, And he informs us also that he is actually the origin and dissolution of all this material and spiritual existence. So is he not an amazing personality? This is really. So, and just now, the last verse before today's verse, he is saying, I'll also read that one out for you. So, he is saying, O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. So here he is giving the example of a locket, a chain, which has nice pearls on it. And these pearls are on a thread. So the thread is the underlying principle and the unifying principle. Without the thread, the jewels wouldn't be nicely arranged there. They wouldn't be together. So just as the thread underlies and unifies, the jewels, similarly, Krishna is saying here, I am the underlying thread and I am the unifying principle of all that exists. So now today we will discuss how is he the underlying thread or of everything, and he will be illustrating this actually through examples. So we will hear today about the examples he's giving. So let's read now text 8. So the way how we do, we can recite, I will recite the first line and then you can please repeat and so on. Okay. Rassoham apsu kaunteya. Rassoham apsu kaunteya. I cannot hear you properly. Please speak from your good heart. Okay. Rassoham apsu kaunteya. Much better, yes. Prabhasmi shashi suryayo. Prabhasmi shashi suryayo. Pranava sarva vedeshu. Pranava sarva vedeshu. Saptake purusham nishu. Yeah, anyone would like to recite? And we follow this verse? Somebody? Yeah? Rasoham apsu kaunteya. Prabhasmi shashi suryayo. Pranava sarva vedeshu. Saptake purusham nishu. Anyone else want to take turns? Okay. Rasoham apsu kaunteya. Prabhasmi shashi suryayo. Pranava sarva vedeshu. Saptake purusham nishu. Thank you so much, beautiful. Yeah, so the translation is, O son of Kunti, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon, the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound in ether and ability in man. So this verse explains how the Lord is all-pervasive by his diverse material and spiritual energies. The Supreme Lord can be preliminarily perceived by his different energies, and in this way he is realized impersonally. As a demigod in the sun is a person and is perceived by his all-pervading energy, the sunshine, so the Lord also in his eternal abode is perceived by his all-pervading diffusive energies. The taste of water is the active principle of water. No one likes to drink seawater, because the pure taste of water is mixed with salt. Attraction for water depends on the purity of the taste, and this pure taste is one of the energies of the Lord. The impersonalist perceives the presence of the Lord in water by its taste, and the personalist also glorifies the Lord for his kindly supplying tasty water to quench man's thirst. Jai Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Shri Shri Nitai Ki Jai. Okay, so 1 second, where we are. That is a way of perceiving the Supreme Personality speaking. There is no conflict between personalism and impersonalism. Oh, that is a way of perceiving the Supreme. Practically speaking, there is no conflict between personalism and impersonalism. One who knows God knows that the impersonal conception and personal conception are simultaneously present in everything, and there is no contradiction. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya established his sublime doctrine, Achintya, Bheda, Bheda, Tattva, simultaneously oneness and difference. The light of the sun and the moon is also originally emanating from the Brahmajyoti, which is the impersonal effulgence of the Lord. And Pranava, or the Omkara transcendental sound, is the beginning of every Vedic hymn, addresses the Supreme Lord. Because the impersonalists are very much afraid of addressing the Supreme Lord, Krishna, by his innumerable names, they prefer to vibrate the transcendental sound Omkara. But they do not realize that Omkara is the sound representation of Krishna. The jurisdiction of Krishna consciousness extends everywhere, and one who knows Krishna consciousness is blessed. Those who do not know Krishna are in illusion, and so knowledge of Krishna is liberation, and ignorance of him is bondage. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Okay. O son of Kunti, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon, the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound in ether and ability in man. Okay, so the question is, how do we become fully Krishna consciousness at every step of our life? Literally every step of our life. Because the whole point of Krishna consciousness is really to connect with Krishna. The real reason why we actually exist is because we do have a connection with God, you know. But it is for many people it is in a dormant state, or it is not fully blossom state. But we are meant to be consciously linked with God. So out of a mass of population, it is only a very small percentage actually who actually wants to be perfect in the art of connecting with God. It is rare. So also here in this chapter 7, the third verse actually, Krishna says, out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection. So we should learn how to connect with Krishna easily and naturally, you know. So Rasoham Apshu Kauntiya is the first sentence in our verse. Krishna is saying, I am the taste of water. So from the biochemical point of view, water is often seen as tasteless, you know. But actually this is not very true, isn't it? It is an incomplete analysis. Because we think many times when we are thirsty or when we want to drink something, let's put a little bit like maybe a cold drink, you know, I have a tea bag in the warm water, you know, to make it a little bit more tasteful. Yes. But water is not just water. Water itself has actually also one very nice propensity, and this is it enables us to taste, to access the taste. Water has a taste, but it also enables us to access taste. So this is when we, for example, it's explained, when we see delicious food or when we see any delicious item or we smell something nice, then at this time in our mouth, you know, the watering starts, we're secreting saliva. And the whole mouth actually gets ready to relish that food, you know. So that is reflecting that we need water in the form of saliva, which enables us to not only chew the food, you know, which we need to do to begin the digestive process, but actually the water is secreted in the tongue, enables us to taste the food. you know. So if the tongue does not secrete saliva, then of course the food will go into our throat and it will nourish us, you know, it will give us vitamins and everything what we need, but we will not be able to taste it, you know. So from that point of view, water makes taste accessible. But really, when we are thirsty, when we are really, really thirsty, then you have been really thirsty in your life? So then you want water, isn't it? Because there's nothing else which can quench your thirst as water does, you know. So water is so nice, especially in that time when I'm very thirsty. So, and there's no manufacturer who can create this taste of water, you know. When Krishna is saying, I am the taste of water, you know, everything is coming actually from Krishna. So no one likes, Prabhupada says in the purport, no one likes to drink the seawater, you know, because the seawater is salty, is mixed with salt. So the pure taste is mixed, you know. But the attraction of water depends on the purity of the taste. So you more pure water you find water in springs, in wells, you know, in the mountains, you know. You more pure the water is, you more better is the taste, you know. But this taste is one of the energies of the Lord. It's one of the energies of God, you know. So Krishna is saying, I am so rasuham apshukauntiyo. So I am the taste in the water. So we can remember actually Krishna, or we can remember God when we drink water. So now whenever you take a glass of water, or any liquid actually, you know, then you can remember Krishna. And by doing so, then in that moment you're Krishna conscious, you know, you're conscious of Krishna, you know, you made that connection. So in the next sentence he is saying, Prabhashmi Shashi Suryayo. Krishna is saying, I am the light of the sun and the moon. So the sun and the moon both are characteristic by light. Yeah, the light might be different of nature, like the sunlight gives maybe more scorching heat. The moonlight in the night is very soothing, very cooling. Yeah, but essentially these are the two prominent sources of light which we have in day and in night. So and Krishna is saying, I am that light, you know. The potency by which the sun and the moon can give light is ultimately coming and arranged by Krishna. So how is that? Let's look at this. How is that? So the original effulgence is coming from Krishna's body. And that effulgence is actually the Brahmajyoti. In the spiritual sky there is the Brahmajyoti. That is the effulgence coming from Krishna's body. So and the material sky is covered. So therefore, the nature of this material sky is darkness. Actually, when there is night, like now, it's getting night, that is our real existence actually. We are living actually in that darkness. Where there is no Krishna, there's darkness, you know. So, yes, there's ignorance, forgetfulness, you know. So at night we experience actually the real nature of this material world. This material world is in darkness. But Krishna is compared to the sun, you know. So the sun gives us reflection. So the sun is a reflection of that Brahmajyoti, you know, which we have heard is a reflection of Krishna's body. So the sun is a reflection of the Brahmajyoti, and the moon is a reflection of the sun, the moonlight. And the stars, they are also there, they are also a reflection of the sun. So similar, if we see electricity like now here, it is also a reflection of the sun actually, extended reflection of the sun. Or if we see anything shining, anything sparkling, the jewelries, you know, the jewelers, the diamonds, you know, that all reflection is actually a reflection from the sun, which is a reflection of the Brahmajyoti, and the Brahmajyoti is a reflection of Krishna's transcendental body. So this illumination, we have to understand, is actually Krishna or God himself. So in this way, we can remember God, we can remember Krishna, when you see any illuminating property. So in the third sentence, Krishna is saying, Pranava Sarva Vedeshu. Pranava Sarva Vedeshu. So this is the A-U-M. So this is the Omkara, an extremely important sound actually. And this concept of Omkara is described in different verses and purports by Srila Prabhupada in this Bhagavad Gita here. And Krishna is stating here that he is a sound. He is a sound by which the potency of the Vedas are manifested. So Om is considered to be a very sacred pronunciation, and it is also not non-different from the absolute truth, you know. So the impersonalists, they recite Om, but we also know, now here Krishna is saying, I am that Om, you know. So Om is nondescript, meaning like having no individual character or form. So Om is an impersonal understanding of the absolute truth, not a personal understanding. But still it refers to the absolute truth, the Om. And Krishna is saying, I am that Om, you know. So the Hare Krishna mantra actually includes the Om as well. So when we chant mantras, like Om Tat Vishnu Paramam Padam or Om Namo Bhagavate, which we have done, you know, so then we are addressing with this Omkara the absolute truth, you know. Like in Hare Krishna, we also address the absolute truth Krishna by his name. We go through Radharani, Hare Krishna, and then through Srimati Radharani to Krishna to address. So it's an address actually, that Omkara, you know. Yeah. So I can maybe read you something here. So especially for the impersonalist, the Akshara or Omkara, the syllable Om, is identical with Brahman. But Krishna here explains the impersonal Brahman into which the renounced order of sages enter. So this is from one other verse. So the sages, the impersonalists pronounce, and here it is clearly stated here that Om, Brahma and Lord Krishna are not different. So this is coming from verse 8:13 in Bhagavad Gita. The impersonal sound of Krishna is Om, but the sound Hare Krishna contains Om. The chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra is clearly recommended for this age. Yeah, so this is Bhagavad saying in this verse 8:13. So this brings us now to Sapta K. So Sapta K is the third line, is the fourth line here in our verse, which we are looking at today. And this is speaking about the sound in ether. So ether is the subtles of the gross elements, like we have water, fire, air, ether, earth, you know. And it is not very easy for us to perceive ether, you know. But it is also one of the 5 elements, and its property is to manifest sound. You know, it is the medium through which sound is transmitted. So whenever you hear some sound, you should know this vibration of the transcendental sound, the sound which we are vibrating in Bhakti Yoga, that is pure spiritual sound vibration. But any sound in this material world is a reflection of that spiritual sound, a perverted reflection, but it's a reflection of that spiritual sound. So when you hear sound, you can also remember God. If you hear any sound, you can remember God, you can remember Krishna. And Purusham Nirshu, ability in man. So Krishna is saying, I am the ability in man. So meaning like women and men, human beings, so ability in man. So different abilities which different men has. So each person is defined actually by his or her abilities, you know. So we have in the Vedic culture 4 Varnas, and they are not only defined by birth, but also by guna and karma. So different people have different abilities. Like we have abilities, some people are defined by their ability of intellectual ability. Some people have ability of administrating. Yeah? Some people are very much good in money-making ability. So, but Krishna is saying, I am the ability in man. So you have met or you meet in life many people who have, who are maybe great abilities, you know, which you're saying, wow, he's a big manufacturer, or he has become so big a scholar, you know, or she is such a big industrialist, you know, and a great banker. So this is all, Purusha means like this is all ability which they have perfect in this material world, but rather than envying this person or questioning why is he or why is she like that, we can think he has attained that ability by Krishna. This power is given to this person by Krishna. And actually Krishna also says in 10:41 here again, my divine manifestation, know that all opulent, beautiful and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. So whatever beautiful we see, whatever great abilities people have, you can understand, it is coming from Krishna. It's Krishna's energy. So in this way, this verse, Rasoham Apshukaunteya Prabhashmi Shashi Suryo Pranava Sarvavedishu Saptake Purushamneshu. This verse explains how the Lord, Prabhupada says actually in the beginning of his purport, is all pervasive by his diverse material and spiritual energies, So prior to perceiving Krishna in his full personal feature, he can be perceived by his different energies, Before we come to the understanding of Krishna as the Supreme Bhagavan, we can understand Krishna by his different energies, and in this way, we can realize him in his impersonal feature. So Krishna has also an impersonal feature, just like the sun. The example is given of the sun. The sun radiates sunshine, isn't it? So the sunshine is everywhere. And when we say, oh, the sun has come to my room, we really mean that the energy of the sunshine has come to my room, If the sun would have come to my room, I would have a little bit of a problem, isn't it? So the sun's energy is in my room. So Krishna is similarly situated in his eternal abode in the spiritual world, and yet he is there everywhere through his energies, He is there through his energies. So for devotees, we are trying to practice personalism, yes. So we can perceive, devotees can perceive actually both, can perceive the energy of the Lord and also the person behind the energy, So Srila Prabhupada gave the example here. The impersonalist perceives the presence of the Lord in water. In the purport, Prabhupada is saying this. The impersonalist perceives the presence of the Lord in the water by its taste. And the personalist also glorifies the Lord for his kindly supplying tasty water to quench man's thirst. So he also recognizes not only the energy of the Lord, but the person itself who supplies the water. So Prabhupada said in the purport, in one sense, there is no contradiction between personalism and impersonalism. Maybe it stuck to you in your mind as well when I read this out. And he points out to Lord Chaitanya's doctrine, the Achintya Bheda Tattva, simultaneously oneness and difference. So to get a little bit better understanding of that, the verse came to mind from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam jai jnanam advaya brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shaptaye. So here, this verse is explaining to us how learned transcendentalists who actually do know the absolute truth, they understand, they call this existence of the absolute truth as non-dual substance, they say. The non-dual substance, they call it Brahman, Paramatma, or Bhagavan. So the Brahman, so here we learn that the absolute truth has three features. It is the Brahman feature, the Paramatma feature, and the Bhagavan feature. And the Brahman feature is the impersonal feature of the Lord. So it is one feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but it is a partial understanding of the absolute truth. It is not a full understanding of all of the features of the Lord, that he has also a personal feature. So the conflict arises now when the impersonalists think, and they do think, that the ultimate feature of the Supreme Person is formless energy. So that contradicts, our understanding of the scripture. So we understand, yes, Krishna has also impersonal feature, but when we think that this is the ultimate feature, there is a contradiction, Because the ultimate feature of the Supreme is that he is actually a person. Thank you. And from him, all these energies are coming. So basically from today's verse, I think we are learning something. And what is that? So we understand when we hear sound, when we hear sound, then we can remember God, you know. And when we drink a glass of water, we can remember God. And when you see some illumination, you can remember God. And when you chant some mantra, some hymn, then also we can remember God. So actually, where and when can we not remember God? We just have to practice, we have to understand that this is actually a practice, When you go now out, try to see the world around, seeing God. And here there are coming more verses, where Krishna will explain himself, how we can see him more, The next one's about the fragrance of the earth, the heat and the fire, and so on. So keep coming or reading at home till verse 11, Krishna gives more understandings of his energies, Yeah. So, but in this way, it is made simple for us to remember God and to become Krishna conscious in this way, Because actually, it is a perfection of life to be 24 hours in Krishna consciousness, meaning like to recognize and remember Krishna. So, yes, and there's one important point, because we cannot have a loving exchange with energy, but we can have a loving exchange with a person. So Krishna really is looking for this loving exchange, So, and that is possible with him as a supreme person. So he can reciprocate completely with his worshipper. So there are so many hints here that we can remember him, appreciate Krishna, and develop our love for him, and our love also for his creation and manifestation as well. And that all is part of the process of becoming Krishna conscious, So thinking of Krishna is a process in devotional service, 1 out of 9 processes, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam. So if we remember Krishna, we advance in our spiritual life. We make progress. So the more we remember Krishna, so now he is kindly giving us different links and hints how we can remember him, then we become purified, we become cleansed, our heart, our mind becomes cleansed, from material contaminations, and we come out of this darkness and we see more and more light, we understand more and more about Krishna. So we can become actually, in this way, this perfect yogi, which he was saying, that is my opinion. The yogi in Bhakti Yoga is the perfect yogi, So through remembrance of Krishna, we advance in our spiritual life. And obviously, in Krishna consciousness, by the grace of Srila Prabhupada, who is representing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the process given to us is the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. It is a Hare Krishna Maha Mantra which devotees chant. It is said, Kirtanya Sada Hari. But in one lecture, Prabhupada is saying, this Hare Krishna Mantra should be chanted 24 hours. Kirtanya Sadahari. But if it becomes difficult or you become hackneyed, then you can remember Krishna otherwise, while drinking water, while seeing the sunshine, while seeing the moonchild, while chanting Vedic mantras, or even hearing some sound in the ether, So sound which we are hearing. So if you simply remember this sloka here in Bhagavad Gita, that is a sound vibration, by which we can see and remember Krishna throughout the day, and that is transcendental sound vibration. So really the prescription is we use our tongue for chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and we employ our tongue for tasting Krishna Prasadam, and this is a process of Krishna consciousness. So it is actually very easy and everyone can adapt to it, So why should we not take to it? So let's be serious and happy in Krishna consciousness, Yeah. All right. So here I will end the class from my side. But maybe you have any points which you have read in the purport which stands out to you, something which you would like to add on, or any comments or questions you may have, or any reflections, then now is a good time to do so. Yes. Yes, please, Maria. Welcome. Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much. Yes. Yes, because we all drink during the day. We can't avoid drinking. Water is the essence of life, isn't it? We can only survive for some, I don't know, how long can we survive without water? Not too long. Yeah, and Krishna is the taste of that water. Yeah, thank you. Yes, please. Yeah, exactly. That's really the conclusion and the point of this class. Thank you so much. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, true. Yeah, he really makes it easy for us in this way. So, obviously, yes, it is. He's presenting now his impersonal energies, but nevertheless, we understand it is Krishna. So, it helps devotees, and it helps also the ones who are not yet on the personal path. They are connecting with Krishna and they're purified. So, for both are getting the benefits. So, Krishna is very kind. Yes. Wonderful. Thank you for making this point. Yes. All right. Yes, please.
What was the question that Arjuna had asked Krishna?
What?
On which he is responding to. What was the question?
Okay, so that Krishna is now. Krishna is speaking basically the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna right now.
What was his doubt? For which,
So Arjuna was in the battlefield, isn't it? And he was perturbed, like, what should I do? What is the right thing to do now in life? And then Krishna started to speak to him, explaining what is our real identity of life. And he started to speak about work and karma, transmigration first, and work and karma. And then, and then he starts to speak, gives information about all the different yoga processes which can be performed in life. But then he said, but this is the easiest one. So when you fight, you should do it for me, So here Krishna starts speaking now about himself, from chapter 7 onwards, and about the process of bhakti yoga, actually. So is there a specific question? Let me see. Okay. I haven't looked that back. Nitya-rasa, would you know? Is there a specific question? Krishna is answering now. You couldn't hear the question? No, we are discussing here in chapter 7, text 8. So he's asking, what is a certain question? What led Krishna to reply in this way to Arjuna?
what was the question that Arjuna had asked?
Yeah.
Why was Krishna explaining him that I'm everywhere? How can you connect with me?
But actually, because Arjuna was confused, how should I be now? Should I leave now, go to the forest, or should I work in Krishna God? One moment. There was.
As far as I understand, Arjuna was kind of confused that what is right and what is wrong
Yes.
in the battlefield, because he had all his family against him, right? And all his elders against him, so he didn't want to fight, and so he was trying to understand what was right and what was wrong, and then he had those questions which came up, and for which Lord Krishna had responded all.
Yeah.
That's the reason I'm just trying to recall what was that exact question Krishna told him that,
Yeah.
I'm everywhere. Whatever I am the light, I am the light, right? I am the light that is everywhere.
Yes. Yes.
I just wanted to recall the question. It's okay, I'll go back.
Yeah. The worldly mind until perfection and mysticism. Okay, so one question. Yeah, he has actually quite a lot of questions. I'm here in chapter 6 now, where I find a lot of questions. For example, the question I'm finding is, Krishna, what is the destination of the unsuccessful transcendentalist whose beginning takes to the process of self-realization? And then his other mighty arm Krishna, does not such a man who is bewildered from the path of transcendence fall away from both spiritual and material? Okay. And then yeah, I think I can't see any questions after this right now here in this book. But what I see is that Krishna really explains to Arjuna now the process of devotional service, how to connect and link with Krishna, Yeah. Sorry, I'm not prepared on this. Thank you.
I used to remember that I've forgotten as
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Sure.
it's just to understand you need to know what the truth Krishna is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because otherwise you will never understand what Krishna was trying to explain.
Yes.
So query is the most important part.
Yeah, so he wants to make us understand that he's a person, and that he has 3 different features, and we can relate to him through all of these features, but we need to understand that he is also a person, actually. So it is devotional service, which we have a loving relation. It's our spiritual nature to have a loving relationship with Krishna in service to him, in pure devotional service. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for your question. And thank you, everyone, for listening. So we will start now very soon with Gorati. Okay, worship of Krishna. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you so much. It was amazing to hear you.
Thank you so much.
Actually, I've learned so much more. Maybe just, I don't know how much I'll be able to continue, but it was really a lovely session.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Hare Krishna.
So straight into Gora Arti, isn't it, when they open the curtains? Is it? Somebody.
I'll try to see if I can.
And I remember where they.
I don't know, I'm going to try it. You can read the slides. You can read it.
It's got Bhagavad Gita 7.8. I can't remember the verse. Closing charge of it. Oh, you're doing it?
Yes, it should come automatically, 6:59.
Oh, all right, okay.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. I don't know. No sense of rhythm. Thank you, all the same. Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ki Jai. So we're going to sing the Gaura Arti. All the words are on the top here, if you want to follow. Okay. Kipa Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Arutika Shobha Jaya Janavita Tavane Jatamanalopa Jakini Chai Chan Vamegata Tara Nikate Advaita Shini Vasa Chatradara Vasi Ache Gorachan Ratna Simhasane Arochi Korena Brahma Adire Bhagane Narahari Adikori Chamarajulaya Sanjaya Mukunda Basu Goshadikaya Shankha Bhaje Ganta Bhaje Bhaje Karatala Mathura Mirdanga Bhaje Paramaratala Shankha Bhaje Ganta Bhaje Mathur Bhaje Mathur Bhaje Bahu Kochi Chandrajini Vadana Ujjvala